Welcome to the Deep Dive Protocol. I'm your host, Poet Woods. Now, you may have seen my strategies featured on NBC, CBS, and Fox News. But today, we're going deeper than sound bites. As a certified knowledge broker and transformational strategist, I know that success is 80% psychology. But as a Google certified AI performance specialist and an AI generalist, I also know that without the right systems, mindset is just a dream. My mission is to fuse these two worlds. In this episode, I've commissioned my AI intelligence team to deconstruct the code of the top 1%. We're stripping away the noise to reveal the real architecture of success. This isn't just a podcast. It's a reprogramming session. Get ready, because now it's time to think with an entrepreneur's mind. The protocol begins now.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're trying to scale a business right now, you already know the game has changed. I mean, completely.
Oh, absolutely.
We've moved past that era of information scarcity, where just knowing something gave you an edge.
Right. Now we are just drowning in information. And the real fight, the only fight that matters, is for attention. It's a battle of attention scarcity.
And this crisis of attention, it has a huge, an immediate impact on your marketing, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, if you're still using those traditional passive strategies like a long sales page or a standard video that talks to everyone the same way.
You're just being inefficient.
It's worse than that. You're using a legacy artifact.
Yeah.
And it's losing its power, by the day.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to give you a way to cut through all that noise. We're going to unpack a strategic necessity, interactive video automation.
And specifically, we're looking at it through the lens of a methodology called the 30X strategy.
Yeah, and this analysis is all grounded in some pretty comprehensive reports. They were commissioned to really understand scaling businesses in this new economy, specifically research from an entrepreneur's mind, which was founded by Poet Woods.
And the takeaway from all this research is, well, it's absolute. Your business has to pivot right now from just, broadcasting a message
to having a dialogue, a real personalized dialogue with every single prospect.
That's the only way to get sustainable success.
Okay, so let's break this down. We have to start at the foundation. Why is video the dominant format to begin with? It's so easy to just say, oh, it's a trend.
But it's not. The data we have says it's an evolutionary adaptation.
Really?
It truly is. I mean, if you look at the reports, the numbers on how our brains process information are just staggering. We process visual data 60,000 times faster than text.
60,000?
Yeah, think about it. Text is a code. It's something we have to learn, and it requires this active cognitive decoding.
So it's a high-friction task. It takes work.
It takes a lot of work, whereas video feels effortless. It hits the visual cortex, and it delivers that emotional punch almost instantly. It bypasses all that friction.
They call that speed to understanding.
Exactly, and that speed, translates directly into retention. And retention is, well, it's the existential risk for any business.
And I want you to really focus on this retention gap. The data shows consumers retain an incredible 95% of a message when they watch it on video.
95%.
Now compare that to text, where retention just plummets. It's a dismal 10%.
Let's just pause on that. A 90% loss. So if you're listening and you send out, say, 1,000 proposals, 1,000 emails that are mostly text.
900 of them won't get the message.
900 of your prospects will fail to retain the core of what you're offering. That's not a business model. It's a massive, unsustainable leak.
And video is the only thing that really plugs that leak.
It's the only digital format that substantially mitigates it. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense for cold traffic, but what about other passive media? Why do podcasts, for example, struggle to convert cold traffic even though they're great for a community?
Well, audio requires a deeper commitment, and cold traffic just isn't willing to give that yet. But more importantly, trust today is so often built visually.
You need to see someone.
You do. Audio lacks those cues, the facial expressions, the product demos, all the things that build rapid trust. We're all conditioned now to scan, to visually filter, and audio just gets filtered out.
So if audio is out for cold traffic and text is a 90% loss, you'd think linear video, the standard YouTube ad, would be the answer, but you're saying it has its own catastrophic ceiling?
It does. Its flaw is that it's monolithic.
Monolithic, meaning
it treats every single viewer as if they are identical. Same situation, same motive, same objection. It's one script, one hook, one call to action for this incredibly diverse audience.
Can you give us a concrete example of how that burns through marketing spend?
Sure. Let's say you're selling a high-end course for entrepreneurs. One part of your audience, let's call them the exit strategist, they want to sell their company in 3 years.
Okay.
Another part, the overwhelmed operator, is just drowning in admin work and needs hiring solutions right now.
And a linear video tries to talk to both of them at once.
Which means it talks to neither of them well. If your video goes on and on about the exit strategy, you instantly bore the overwhelmed operator.
Who just needed help today.
Right. So you're forced to gamble on which story you tell. And if you guess wrong for 90% of your traffic, you've just wasted 90% of your ad spend. It's a cap. Linear video inherently caps your conversions.
Which brings us directly to the solution AEM's research points to, the 30X strategy. What is that, and why 30X?
So the 30X strategy comes from the work of a veteran marketer, M.O.M. And the core idea is pretty simple, actually. For any product you sell, there aren't just 1 or 2 reasons to buy.
There are 30.
There are at least 30 distinct psychological or situational entry points that would make a prospect buy.
30 different ways of looking at the same problem?
Yeah.
That feels like a lot to manage.
It is a lot. And these aren't just, slightly different headlines. They're totally different psychological perspectives. For our business coach example,
Okay.
One angle is fear of failure. Another is the desire for freedom. Another is wanting to prove a competitor wrong.
And you can't build 30 separate landing pages for that.
It's logistically impossible for a scaling business.
Yeah.
It's just too complex.
So if you can't do that, how do you handle that complexity?
This is where we get M.O.M's other concept, the stack. A master salesperson, in person, they don't follow a rigid script, right?
Right, they adapt.
They adapt the stack. The layers of value, proof, evidence, based on what the client is saying, their body language. If the client mentions price, the salesperson shifts to ROI. If they mention trust, they pivot to a case study.
That makes perfect sense one-on-one. But how do you replicate that intuition, that dynamic adjustment in a fully automated digital world?
You do it with interactive video. The video itself becomes the dynamic stack. It just asks the user directly, what is your biggest concern? If they click price, the video branches to a value breakdown.
And if they click trust,
it immediately jumps to a relevant case study. So the user gets the stack that is most likely to convert them specifically. All that 30X complexity is handled by the branching logic behind the scenes.
while the user just experiences a simple personal conversation.
Exactly. And that gets us to the psychological engine behind it all. Micro-commitments.
Okay, so when a typical funnel asks for your email or a calendar booking right away, that's a macro commitment. And it triggers resistance. The shields go up.
They do. Interactive video avoids that using the classic foot-in-the-door technique. It starts with incredibly low-friction questions. These are the micro-commitments.
Like what?
Like, are you a business owner? Yes or no? Or do you have 3 or more employees? Yes or no? It takes almost zero cognitive effort to answer.
But the user is still clicking. They're still committing, even in a small way.
That's the key. By the time the video gets to the big ask the macro commitment, like booking a call, the user has already said yes multiple times. They've established a pattern of consistency.
And they're psychologically primed to follow through.
Precisely. And the research backs it up. Interactive videos generate 3 times more conversions than static videos, just because the user has shifted from being a passive observer to an active participant.
A 3-time lift is. That's phenomenal. But there's another cognitive effect here, isn't there? The brain's own filtering system.
The reticular activating system, or RAS.
Yes.
Yes, this is a survival mechanism. The RAS, deep in your brain, filters out 99% of what you see and hear.
Like walking through Times Square, you just tune most of it out.
Right. Your brain only lets through what's dangerous, what's new, or what's specifically relevant to you. Everything else is just noise. Generic marketing is noise.
And it gets tossed in the cognitive trash bin.
Instantly. But interactive video forces relevance, which is what triggers the RAS. When a user clicks, I am a high-ticket consultant in finance,
The video immediately pivots.
it pivots to, perfect for a finance consultant like you. That personalization gives you the biggest cognitive impact for the lowest effort. You click once, you get hyper-relevant data.
And that combination of priming and relevance is what drives the engagement rates up so high.
It is. We see engagement rates of 66% for interactive video compared to maybe 44% for linear,
Okay.
moving from passive viewing to focused attention.
So once we've got that focused attention, the next big step is actually exclusion,
Yeah.
vetting the tire kickers.
This is the pivot from attraction to exclusion, and for scaling, it's absolutely essential. We call it the tire kicker tax.
The cost of dealing with people who are never going to buy.
Exactly. The time, the resources, the effort you spend on unqualified prospects. For any service business, a coach, a lawyer, your time is your inventory. And if you waste an hour on a bad lead, that inventory is gone, destroyed forever.
Can you break down the math on that for us?
Sure. Let's say you're a high-ticket coach. Your time is worth $500 an hour. You're doing 45-minute consults. Your static funnel brings in 100 leads, and a pretty standard 50% are unqualified.
So 50 bad leads a month.
50 bad leads. That's 37.5 hours a month wasted on dead-end calls.
Wow, that's a huge sunk cost.
It is. It worked out to an $18,750 loss every single month. That's $225,000 a year that business is losing just from poor filtering. Interactive video has to be your automated gatekeeper, your velvet rope.
And it does that by asking the tough, qualifying questions up front.
The questions a human might feel awkward asking right away: do you have a dedicated budget? Are you the final decision maker? If the answer is no,
The video can route them to a different path. A downsell, maybe.
to an ebook, a free resource, anything but a valuable consultation slot. You protect the inventory.
And while all this filtering is happening, you're collecting this data gold, zero-party data.
Which is so much better than the old third-party cookies. ZPD is data the customer gives you intentionally, proactively. They're building their own profile for you.
So when you finally get on that sales call, it's not an interrogation.
Not at all. You're not trying to figure out their budget or pain points. You already know. You can start with a prescription. It changes the entire dynamic. It becomes a service consultation, not a cross-examination.
Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. AEM has implemented these quiz funnels across some really different verticals. Let's start with legal services. High cost per lead.
Legal is a tough one. The CPL is astronomical, and they get buried under unqualified inquiries. They needed speed, but they also needed filtering.
So what was the solution?
It's called the case qualifier funnel. The video just asks the critical questions right away. Were you physically injured? Did this happen in our state? If the user clicks no injury,
The funnel stops them.
it politely disqualifies them and maybe offers a different resource. This stops the firm from paying expensive intake staff to process a dead-end lead.
And the results on that.
The law firms using this have seen their conversion rates, meaning qualified leads, moving to the next stage jump from around 65% up to 98%.
98%. That is an insane efficiency gain.
It saves them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Okay, let's pivot to home services. Plumbers, HVAC guys, their biggest issue is the wasted truck roll.
The truck roll is a killer. Driving out just to give a free estimate is all unbillable time. So the solution here is what they call the remote diagnosis video.
How does that work?
The video prompts the user, let's diagnose this remotely. It asks a few questions, then has them upload a quick 15-second clip of the problem. You know, the leaking pipe, the furnace error code.
And the technician can see it from the office.
The master plumber can review it and send back a tiered price estimate by email. It completely eliminates the need for that free estimate drive. It's a game changer.
It frees up their most valuable asset, the skilled tech.
Absolutely. Then you have health and medical, high anxiety sales. Patients need a ton of pre-education, and they don't always retain it.
And that consult time is so precious, you want to spend it on the procedure, not just basic facts.
So the virtual triage video handles the facts before they ever book. A user can click on a body map or select their tolerance for recovery time. The video then delivers a personalized treatment plan, success stories, pre-op instructions, all before the visit.
What's the measurable impact of that?
It reduces the in-office consult time by 20% because the basics are covered. And critically, it increases patient retention of instructions by over 30%. Better retention means better outcomes.
And finally, real estate. The classic looky-loos.
Agents spend their weekends showing homes to people who were never qualified to buy. The Dream Home Finder tour filters them out. It asks, are you working with a lender, been pre-approved, have a home to sell first?
If they say no, they still get a nice digital tour, but the agent knows not to book a physical showing.
Exactly. The agent only spends their Saturday mornings with financially vetted, high-intent leads. It's the ultimate inventory protection for a high-touch industry.
So when you pull back and look at all this, the difference is it's stark. Interactive videos are getting completion rates of 90%, where linear struggles to keep half the viewers.
And look at the action. The click-through rates. Interactive is hitting 11% CPRs. The industry standard for linear video is what, 1, maybe 2%?
It's a tenfold increase in effectiveness.
It really is. The trajectory is undeniable. Static web pages were the print era. Linear video was broadcast TV.
Yeah.
But interactive video, with its agency and two-way communication,
It's the native format of the internet.
it is. But success isn't just about the tool, it's about the strategy. And the research from An Entrepreneur's Mind, from Poet Woods, it all emphasizes that you're not just building a video, you're building a decision engine.
An engine that can handle the complexity of that 30x methodology.
Efficiently, yes. And looking forward, this whole strategy is being future-proofed by AI. We're already seeing AI used to help script those 30 different psychological angles.
So no perspective is missed.
And the next wave is generative personalization. Real-time optimization, even having an AI voice speak the user's name right in the video to maximize that cognitive resonance.
So if you're trying to scale, the risk isn't in trying this. The risk is in staying static, paying that huge tire kicker tax, and just ignoring this fundamental shift from broadcasting to dialogue.
And that leads to one final thought for you to take away from this deep dive. We talked about how interactive video lets you assemble the sales pitch for the user, which increases its relevance. By making them participate, you actually increase the perceived value of what you're offering. This is a perfect example of the IKEA Effect, the psychological principle that people value things more when they helped create or assemble them. So the question to think about is this: what other areas of your life or your work could benefit from giving the user agency or assembly rights over the final outcome?
The transmission ends here, but the construction project is just beginning. Now, I've told you to go get the blueprint, but you need to understand, I'm not just sending you there to download a PDF. I'm sending you to the armory. The blueprint is the central command station for an entrepreneur's mind. When you step inside, you aren't just getting scripts. You're getting access to the full scope of my agency's heavy artillery. The AI appointment bots to clone your sales team and book calls while you sleep. The interactive video engines that turn passive viewers into active buyers. The Dirty Dollars OS to automate your access acquisition. And even the legal architectures and biohacking fuel you need to protect and power your empire. And so much more. We have the tech, the strategy, the protection, and the protocol. It's all waiting for you behind one door. Go to anentrepreneursmind.com/blueprint. Stop playing with the pieces of the puzzle. Come get the whole picture. Initiate the protocol. I'll see you on the inside. Stay focused, and as always, straight ahead.